I must be seeing things. Hey, wait a second. That wasn't there a second ago. Is this an arm?
Why, yes it is! Maybe one of the waxwork models has fallen over.
You don't think it could be the work of one of the mass murderers in here, do you?
Bruno, stop scaring me!
It is a wax arm. Is it a wax arm or a real worm?
You're always pointing that finger of yours in court. Poke that arm now and see how it feels.
Objection!
Let's go talk to Hurley.
I'm really curious about this. These models are so well made, I can't tell what's a waxwork and what's a real human.
Or maybe all the exhibits are real people. And when it's closing time and all the visitors have gone home, they suddenly start moving about.
Just thinking about it makes me wish it was closing time already and I was on my way home.
You're not gonna talk to him?
Who? They're wax figures, Christy. They can't talk.
You're not gonna talk to Shirley?
Is this some infamous murderer?
Yes, called Jane the Ripper.
Oh boy. The fact that they called her Jane the Ripper makes me believe that she's gonna show up at some point.
Probably.
Oh man, wouldn't it just be funny if she was just like a juror? Just like a random juror. Because I mean, the last game did that too, where with the Russian revolutionary, yeah, it set up the joke in case 2, and then he appeared as a juror, and there was no other reason for him to be there.
All her victims were young women.
I knew it. You can tell by the way she's holding that knife. Sure sign of a murderer.
Well, she certainly isn't going to be chopping cucumbers.
Ah!
What's the matter, Bruno?
I'm afraid of cucumbers. She's trying to fill that bathtub with blood so she can have a soak in her victim's gore.
Not according to the information about the exhibit on the little board here. It doesn't mention anything about the bathtub.
Really?
Sorry, I don't think it's significant.
I still think it has to be there for a reason. That big heavy curtain is in a very prominent position, isn't it? I have a nasty feeling there's going to be something truly terrifying behind it.
Oh yes, that's the famous T-Spells special exhibit. Depicts one of England's most notorious killers. Do you want to pay the extra fee and have a look?
Pay more money? To be even more terrified? Oh, let me think about that for a moment.
It was only a suggestion. No need to be so rude. Bruno?
It's the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes has his own wax statue in here? And it's depicting him in a kimono?
Well, he is world famous after all.
It's an uncanny resemblance, isn't it? It makes my skin crawl to look at it, and I'm pretty sure it looked at me.
I know!
But
look, Bruno, you can kick this early and he doesn't move a muscle.
Ow!
The fucking jiggle on his model is going up and down.
You can't go around kicking the exhibits.
You can't go around kicking the exhibits, Iris. Wait. It just moved. I'm sure of it. Not just a little bit either. Kick it again, Iris. Really?
Did it?
Its eyes are pointed in a different direction. Look closely. There are beads of sweat on the face of this waxwork model.
Hi, Sean.
Nah, must be coincidence.
Ow!
Oh, sorry. Shall we move on, Iris? Over there, look! There's a great murder scene to enjoy, much more appealing. My dear fellow, I take exception to your recoiling in such a manner as if you've seen something truly abhorrent. Mr. Shelves! I knew it! Iris, what possessed you? I strictly forbade you from divulging my temporary waxwork secret to Mr. Naruhodo. Temporary waxwork? What do you mean? And that kick! Could you not have exercised a little more restraint? You winded me!
But Bruno has something he needs to ask you.
And you think... Ah, a question! Surely this will distract from the aching pain in my shins.
I thought you'd probably be getting bored too. So here we are.
Well, I can't deny your timing was impeccable. A mere 2 minutes being more stationary like that, and my great brain, upon which all my success has been built, would have turned to wax. Thank goodness we arrived in time. Indeed! In many ways, the pair of you have just
Why is
saved
he
the
so
world
fucking cute?
from an unimaginable loss.
Oh, Hurley, you do like to talk nonsense, don't you?
You could know something, it's true, about Lord Van Zieks and what happened in the past to change him. Now that you're here, let's take our time. How may I be of assistance to you? For your own luck, I'm suddenly quite taken with the idea of conversing. Well, actually, I'm in quite a hurry. And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe something is afoot within the walls of this very museum. Most fascinating case, if I'm not mistaken. Really? Moreover, I have a strong suspicion it is related to the matter about which you've come to me now. But how could it be? We shall speak again presently, my dear fellow, but for now I must return to my work. Meh. Back to being a temporary waxwork exhibit? Stop blinking, then. Is this an example of Western Sujigiri?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
You know, when an unscrupulous samurai randomly attacks a passerby to test his sword? What?
I still don't know. No.
They do that in Japan?
I used to.
They used to.
Well, actually, a waxwork samurai would probably be hugely popular.
That's why I decided with this outfit, my dear.
Could you model it, do you think, Bruno? Doing that Sujigiri thing you mentioned?
Oh, come on now.
I have no intention.
Well, I do have a sword, but I have no intention of testing how sharp it is on a human subject. For now, at least. What? Stop ignoring me, it's creepy. These models are so well made, I can't tell what's a waxwork and what's a real human.
That's how Hurley gets away with making himself a temporary exhibit for the day.
Maybe there are other people posing as exhibits in here then.
Or maybe all the exhibits are real people. And when it's closing time, blah blah blah.
Closing time. Meh. Take a look at this. Mr. Sholmes, about this. As you will see, I'm rather busy at the moment. If it's advice you seek, come to my office tomorrow, and I shall be happy to help you. Shall we say... threepence per item as a consultation fee? That's 2 hours of gas, that is. Yeah, I guess we didn't examine it. Yes. 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 Oh, little switch here. Ah, there's some sort of lever here.
It's a crossbow.
What the? What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I shall call it the bow gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing, too.
Crossbow.
This groove here must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right, it's a sort of a bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the... with the bowstring 2 times out of 3. In fact, if I had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in Kyoto archery training. Iris just has no comment.
Iris is thinking, yeah, I could write about that.
Looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before. But applying Mr. Sholmes' methods, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really, really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning. Or maybe not. Iris just is standing there, not even contributing.
Ah, yes, I am used to this.
What is this place? Well, I better break character real quick. Madame Two Spells came to London from France 3 years ago, I understand. Since she opened this little waxwork museum last year, it's enjoyed great popularity in London. There are museums like this in Japan, too, but these displays are something else. I mean, they aren't made from actual real people. Are they? The extreme realism of these waxwork models is a particular secret of the Two Spells family, they say. They earned renown during the French Revolution for waxworks of victims of the guillotine. Ugh, that sounds grim. Grimoire, I'm afraid. The gruesome scenes were portrayed with such realism in the expressions of the faces of the condemned.
Apparently, the sculptors would make the models directly from the corpses right there at the site of the executions.
That really turns my stomach.
Turns their heads.
But that's just one of the several religions about the Two Spells family. Whether there's any truth in it, I couldn't say. But anyway, this museum houses models of famous people from all over the globe. That's why I'm here, because I'm a famous person from all over the globe. Nevertheless, the most popular area of the museum by quite some margin is this House of Horrors. House of Horrors? Of course, visitor numbers are dwindling now as a result of the Great Exhibition, but people usually flock here to see the exhibitions of some of London's most vile criminals and their gruesome work. Naturally, most of the miscreants portrayed here were sent to the gallows. But some survive to this very day, so they're even stiffer now than the models them. Ha ha ha!
Have you heard of poor taste?
My dear fellow, the public live for poor taste. They yearn to be shocked. So the hideous exhibits in here are...
They're all portrayals of real events that actually took place.
Is it just me, or did the temperature in here just seem to drop? Anyway, I advise you to not think too deeply about what you see in here. What do you mean by a temporary waxwork, Mr. Sholmes? Exactly what you see. My arm hurts. I'm part of the exhibits here, catching these criminals in the act. Catching... what? Every half an hour, I home in on a different killer in one of the displays and adopt a new pose to ensnare him. When members of the public come for a closer look, I offer them my hand to shake. For a shilling, I'll happily allow them to take a photograph with us. Us? Does he mean him and the waxwork murderers in here? But why, Mr. Sholmes? Because I'm poor. My dear fellow, isn't it obvious? For the money!
He's literally.
He really roared at me there. Very fitting for the House of Horrors. Meh. As it stands, I may struggle to pay this month's rent, as I have the ravenous Iris to consider.
Oh, Hurley, I'm so hungry.
I might have to feed her my manuscripts. If push comes to shove, I shall have to ask you to do your bit, Mr. Naruto. What? What's he threatening to rope me into now? You know that bit, you ever heard about how if you were to drop dead, your cats wouldn't even hesitate to eat you? Well, it's like that, but Iris is the cat in this case. Also, you won't be dropping dead. So with that in mind, how about a photograph?
This, kitty.
That's why I'm wearing a kitty outfit. Yeah. As a special treat, you may have your pick of the murderers and scoundrels in here. The choice is yours. Maybe some other time. Remember, Mr. Naruto, ignore me at your peril. Yeah. Back to being waxwork. Did his final remark there sound a lot like a curse? I'm ignoring you now. Well, I've decided that's... Oh, his little mask moves! His mask moves when he does the finger thing! Well, what is it like you'd like to ask me then? Actually, it's about Lord Van Zieks. Our friend Mr. Reaper, how did you find him? Well, I trust? And so I filled Mr. Sholmes in. With my penis.
We decided to do some role reversal.
So I'm wondering what it was that happened to make Lord Van Zieks such a different person.
I was sure you'd know, Hurley.
You said there was something going on here in this exhibit hall before, that something was afoot. No, I'm pretty sure I said something was an arm. But that you believed it was related to what I wanted to ask you about. Mr. Sholmes. He suddenly clammed up. Well, it seems we reached the end of our... Greetings.